Hi, my name's Tom Shu, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to set up and develop a time lapse. I'm not going to go into all the details on how you capture the images. I think you can figure that on yourself. But what you want to do is go out and shoot, set up manually focus, set your lens at infinity, and take a series of images. You'll get a timer interlevometer. If you have a Nikon, it's built in. And just remember, 30 frames a second is full motion, and 24 and 25 frames a second are what cinema looks like. So like the old flipbook days, if you were to take a picture on a bunch of pages and you flip it really fast, you can see those pictures moving. Well, if we just do this and we double click this image and we just hold the right arrow down inside Lightroom, it'll go through all the images and you can see each one of those images creating motion. Now they're not rendered all the way we want them to be. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what they're going to look like. So let's go back to the group view, and when you develop your images in your camera, when you set your settings, make sure that you have you're exposed to the right, okay, where you've got the histogram pushed to the right all the way over, like this, without clipping. And this will give you the most detail you can in each one of your files, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your first file, because they're all going to be the same, and you're going to post work it. Okay, so we'll grab our black, hold down the Alt key, and we'll just do this to the first frame. We'll set us a black point, and then we'll take our whites and we'll come pull it back just to where it goes away, and we'll bring it over till it starts to clip. Okay, so there's our white point. We actually don't want to clip those clouds. We want to back it off just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. And we'll bring up our clarity a little bit, and we'll bring up our vibrance a little bit to put some more color in there. And we can even come down here to the HSL and grab some blue here and increase the blue. Oh, this must be the luminance. Let's go to the saturation. Let's undo that. Go to our saturation, and we'll pull up our blues a little bit. There's some more blue in the sky, and we'll actually go to luminance and we'll darken the sky just a little bit like that. Just for the sake of the tutorial, we'll call that one done. So we've post-worked one image. Let's go ahead and apply that to all the images in the group. So what we'll do is we'll go to the grid views, that's G, okay, and we'll come all the way down to the bottom. We'll hold down the Shift key, select them all, and we'll say Sync Settings. We want to sync them all, just for the sake of the tutorial. So what it will do is it'll process each one of the images so they look exactly the same as the first image. You can see it's going across the screen. Okay, I'll pause the video, let that happen. So it's applied our settings to all the images, and it's still rendering the previews. But don't worry about that. So with them all selected, if they're not, you can hit Control D to deselect. But to select them all, you can hit Control A or Command A on a Mac. Okay, and then we'll right click and we'll say Export. Now we're going to export these huge raw files into time lapse, and we'll just choose the size we want. Okay, so I'll just make these on the long edge. I'll make them 1080. So it'll be like a 720. And we'll just leave the resolution at 72 dpi, and JPEG format's fine. A lot of people like to use a TIFF sequence. We can do that. sRGB color's fine. And we're going to put them in a new folder. We're going to call it Timelapse. I'm going to call it Timelapse 2. So now it's going to take those 277 images and export them as a TIFF. We'll export it, preparing the export, and up here in the left hand corner it says exporting, so I'll pause the video again. Okay, so it's completed the task. It's exported all the files. You can see it's one of 277. And yeah, there's 277 images. So the next thing we want to do is come into Photoshop, okay, and we're going to say File, Open, okay, and we'll go back to the right place, which is the Timelapse 2 folder. We'll click on the first one and we'll click on Image Sequence. Click Open. And we're going to pick a frame rate. In this particular instance, I'm going to use 24 frames a second. And we'll click OK. So this is typically what happens to a lot of people when they try to export out of Lightroom. It's going to bring in one frame. Okay, see it says 01F. And the problem is we chose import image sequence, however the names of the file were one of 277. I did that on purpose. I'm going to show you how you fix it. You're going to go into Bridge. So let's launch Bridge. Let's pull this down, hide that, and we'll bring open Bridge. Now when Bridge opens up, we're going to have to navigate to our folder. So we'll find that, and it will be Timelapse 2. Okay, so there's the folder. We'll open those up. Okay, and I'm just going to select them all, Control A. Okay, and then we're going to go to Tools, Batch Rename. Okay, and we'll call this Timelapse 2. Okay, and sequence number will start with 1. Okay, and I want to rename it in the same folder, or we can move it to another folder or copy to other folder. So let's move it to another folder. Please select the destination we want to put it. We're going to make a new folder right under Timelapse 2 and call this Batch Rename. Okay, and the reason why is each one of those didn't have the proper image sequence number. So we'll just go ahead and rename this one. We click Rename, and it's going to rename and move all the files. And this time when we open up Photoshop, we're going to have a different outcome. So we're going to close this document. We're going to click File, Open, and let's go up one level. And in Timelapse 2, we're going to select Batch Rename. And if you'll notice, if we bring these files down to a list, you can see where there's number 1. So we select on number 1, and we choose Image Sequence and click on Open. Same thing, same frame rate, except this time instead of one frame, it's going to bring in all the frames. Okay, so if we hit our space bar, it will play our time lapse for us. Now it's a simple matter of fact of exporting this as a video. So we'll go ahead and hit the space bar again. Now let's bring this back to 0, and we choose File, Export, Render Video. Okay, and since we did a 1080, I want to do a 24 frame 720, and it's going to be .h264, and we'll put it in a new folder, and we'll call it Timelapse 720. Click OK, and it's going to render that file for us. It's exporting the video. Let this eat away, and I'll pause the video. Okay, it's just finishing up now, and it has completed the export. Let's open up that file. So we'll go to there. So it's saved in the original Timelapse folder under Timelapse 720, and then we can play this video, and there's our playing video, and we'll just let it go through and see what happens. It's the first time I'm seeing this. Some clouds rolling across, And that's about it. That's how you make a time lapse. Sorry for the long video, but I want to thank all of those that stayed and watched it. I want to hope you all have a nice day. And until next time, we'll see you soon.